Hi, I'm Ben Buddy Slack, and I'm the founder of the Swan Song Project. The Swan Song Project is a charity that gives people facing into their lives the opportunity to write and record their own original songs. I've started doing a series of interviews with songwriters where I ask them to share one of their songs, tell us a little bit how they wrote it, share with us a songwriting tip that might be useful to new songwriters, and also share with us how a piece of music's helped them deal with bereavement in the past. This episode features Lisa Marie Glover, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, today I'm here with Lisa Marie Glover. Thanks for joining us, Lisa.
Oh, very nice to be here.
So Lisa's going to play a song for us. We're going to have a chat about it. Then Lisa's going to share with us a songwriting tip, and then we're going to talk about a song that is meaningful to Lisa related to end of life and bereavement. So I'm going to put you on the big screen, Lisa, and you want to introduce your song and take it away whenever you're ready.
Hello. Hi, this is a song I wrote about Barcelona, and it's called Shadows and Light. A little bit of nature captured in the stone. Four spires loom over the plaza down below, staring at the statues, beating hearts inside. Flower stalls and painters beneath an August sky, taken in the city from a park upon a hill, blazing in the sunshine, staying there until twilight falls around me. So I head back to the town. Disembodied voices on the underground. Captured in the sun, shaking off the urgency, there's nothing to be done. Let your mind unravel, connect with here and now. Whimsical and wondering nowhere and why and how. Walking through the shadows and the beams of lemon light, gazing through the windows, wandering inside. Outside on a rooftop, wine begins to flow, singing and the laughter, watching people down below. Walking through the shadows, the beams of lemon light, riding on the tail of the day into the night.
Oh, thank you very much, Lisa. Yeah, that was great. Thank you very much. What can you tell us about writing that?
Okay, well, that is a song that it came together. I think it was sometime last year, or even the end of the year before. But the lyrics I wrote many years ago. I lived in Barcelona for a short time back in the early 2000s, and I scribbled some words down one day. Just in an old notebook, and I actually pulled this old notebook out and was like, oh, I forgot about this. And it was a skeleton of that song, and I just sort of started pulling it together and putting it in order, and then just sort of came up with the music to go with it. And it started off quite plain initially, just with just that kind of thing, just while I was initially writing it. And then I started to think, well, I want to make it feel a bit more pseudo-Spanishy, I suppose. So I just sort of just came up with that kind of finger picking pattern, and it just kind of went from there, really.
Yeah, that's really nice. Do you do that often, of like revisiting things that you've written in the past and then coming back to them? And does that happen a lot for you, or is that?
Yeah, occasionally. It's because I've just recorded an album. Do you know Phil Snell?
I know the name. I don't know him personally, but I've heard of him, I think.
He's a fella up in Otley, but he plays mandolin and violin and all kinds of things. He's got a really nice studio, and I've just been recording an album with him, which will be coming out soon. But that song's on it, and there's another one I've written called Loose End, and that's also sort of Barcelona inspired. There was a few lyrics in there, again taken from old notes. But yeah, sometimes it happens like that, because I've got a box full of just some of it's really random poetry, mostly quite funny and sometimes a bit filthy. But I've done a lot of really mind-numbingly boring temp jobs over the years, and when I've had those days of desperation, I usually write down all kinds of weird stuff, and I sometimes go back to it and it turns into a song. But yeah, and then of course, and you probably know yourself, you get those songs where they just seem to come together in a matter of like minutes, and you polish it up, but the majority of the song's written in a matter of like half an hour or something.
When you write separately, like with that one, when you wrote it originally, was it intended to be a song, or was it just like a poem, do you think? Or like, I'm just wondering if when you write lyrics, do you write with like a musical idea in mind, or like a style you want it to be, or do you just write words and then try and then add music to it separately?
It's funny. It depends, because sometimes I'll just like, I'm not going to play the whole song, but like for ages I had this riff, and I put about probably a couple of different lyric attempts before I got to the song it actually became. So sometimes it might be, like a little riff comes, or I've been playing something, just playing some covers I really like, and then suddenly I'll go, oh, hold on, I can use that, and that becomes something else. Or it's weird, I've been challenging myself to write out of the box more over the last couple of years, where I'm like, okay, today I'm going to write a song only using minor sevens, or, move them around and see what happens. So it's quite a varied process for me. But yeah, that song I just played, I think I probably did scribble it down with the idea of it at some point. It was more of a lyric in mind than a poem, but yeah, as I say, it's quite a long time ago when I actually scribbled it down. So
something I used to do when I first was starting with songwriting is I'd write a set of lyrics to a tune of a song that I liked. So like a famous song, I'd basically write a new set of lyrics to that, and then I'd leave it for a while, so I'd forget which song it was that I based it on. So I'd come back and have this set of lyrics, and I'd forgotten what song I based it on. So then I'd try and write a new tune to it, which was quite an interesting way of doing it. But it was just like...
Sorry to interrupt. It's the delay on this, isn't it? I was going to say I'm going to nick that idea for the students at Clough Cat. So.
Yeah,
no, that's a really good idea. Yeah.
The only thing, like, it's just kind of the leaving it and waiting the time is the trickier part. Sometimes I just it goes quicker. But I was talking with another songwriter friend of mine yesterday, and we're talking about like, if you heard Leonard Cohen would spend years writing songs. He said that some songs would take him over 10 years, and he'd write like multiple, like 60 verses for a song, and then throw away 55 of them. But we were talking about whether he actually means working on a song for, like, presumably he's not working on it every day for 10 years. Presumably it's like, and I was thinking like you said with that, like if you wrote that song surely that song took, was it say it was what, like 20 years or so when you wrote those lyrics?
Well, you must be getting on for that, yeah,
Around
because it
that,
was
yeah.
in like 2002, 2003. So, well, you know, good 16, 17 years or whatever we're up to. I don't know, I'm losing track now. 17 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So presumably that's what he means by that. Like he had some idea, like your ideas develop
yeah.
over time, like that, rather than working consistently on the one song for 10 years, which would be very tedious, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think you'd lose the will at that point. I've
Yeah.
had it a few times where I've started writing something and it's evolved into something else, you know, of like, oh, this song isn't really working. Oh, but if I take this bit and put it with this,
Mm.
ta-da! And the little ball goes off in your head. And yeah, I think, I guess, again, as we mentioned before we were recording, we've both worked doing the songwriting, tutoring stuff, and it's one of those things where you think, oh God, where do I begin really? And I think because I've been doing more of that, you know, you start to analyze more. How do I write a song? What is it? What? And I think I've become more self-aware of the process in the last few years. Whereas initially I used to be like, oh God, I don't know, I just do it. But
Yeah.
I think it's keeping it creative as well and finding lots of different ways of just challenging yourself and looking at what you've done already and what can you do differently next time.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I think the same as what you were just saying then is I've found that it's when you study it a lot and kind of explain methods to other people, you can lose touch with the freedom of not having any methods. So that's something that one thing that I found very inspiring doing these songwriter interviews recently is kind of remembering that of like sometimes to just, you know, forget about all the methods and just flow with whatever ideas are coming to you. And that's one of the beautiful things about it is that, you know, you can there is so many methods you can use, but there's an infinite amount, and you know, some of them you can't describe them as methods. Something just happens and you get a song out of it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You need you definitely shouldn't. It's funny because I did a H&D in music again a long time ago, just before I went to Barcelona, and I remember at the time I picked up so much great theory knowledge that I just know now, but at the time it really sort of squashed my creativity because I was overthinking everything. And I think for a while it did put a bit of a dampener on my writing, without a doubt. But in the long run, it was worth it. It was definitely to go and study. But yeah, definitely try not to stop the flow. Just to go with the flow. I think we're already moving towards what you were going to ask me, actually.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Let's look at a smooth transition. Let's move into section 2. So this is where I ask my guests to share a songwriting tip that might be useful to new songwriters. So yeah, Lisa, what have you got for us?
Well, yeah, pretty much following on. I was making me notes late last night, and now I mustn't try to waffle. But I think the overall message would be less overthinking and more doing. So, I put down like the best ideas come when you're not trying too hard. If you're trying too hard to do something, you'll just get frustrated and you'll get writer's block. And I think something else in the past with me is that I used to be obsessed with trying to make every song not sound like another song. And I think sometimes you kind of one thing flows into another, and I've learned that it's better to, again, I don't know if you've ever done any sort of drama improvisation, but they always say in an improvisation class, don't block the other person. If someone comes with an idea, go with it. Don't suddenly go, no, you can't be a dinosaur because they're all dead, you know, or whatever. It's the same with yourself when you're writing. Don't suddenly go, oh, but I use that chord, and it was like, well, hold on, no, just see where it goes. It's still something different. And I don't know if I'm being very clear right now.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. And I think what you said about worrying a lot about songs sounding like other songs is a very common one, and something that I've had in the past. And I think a lot of people, especially people who don't play a lot of music or don't know a lot about that side of things, but that how many songs are very similar in structure, but still like the experience to a listener is very different. But that like so many songs just use exactly the same chord progression, and even tunes are quite similar a lot of the time. So yeah, you don't have to be as out, like completely out of the box. And people like familiarity as well. That's what I used to think as well. Like, well, the more original you can be, the better. But that's not necessarily the case, because you get a lot of people who make original stuff for the sake of it being original rather than for it being a effective piece of music in a way. If that makes sense, and meaningful to people a lot of time.
It's finding that balance, isn't it? I think trying to put your own sort of flavour on something, but at the same time, yeah, I guess it depends what you're setting out to do. But yeah, from a general songwriting point of view, definitely go with the flow and try not to do your own heading too much.
Yeah.
And the best ideas always come late at night.
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the morning might be good time for writing songs. It might not be so good for your housemates or the people you live with. So. But,
And sociable working hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But often it's that sleep deprivation, I think, can really help sometimes with the creativity. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, thanks, Lisa. So let's move into section 3 now, shall we? So this is where I ask my guests to choose a song that means something to them relating to end of life and bereavement. So Lisa's going to introduce the song in a moment. Then the link is in the description of this. So if you're watching the video and you want to listen to the song, you can pause it in a moment and go and listen to it, and then come back and we're going to have a little chat about it. So what song did you choose for us, Lisa?
I chose Over and Over by Fleetwood Mac. It was a Christine McVie song. The reason I chose it, Fleetwood Mac were like the first band I properly got into that made me want to be a songwriter, and that was because of my dad, who I lost my dad when I was 15, but he really liked Fleetwood Mac. We'd have it on in the car all the time. There's lots and lots of songs I could have picked, but Over and Over, I just always remember and going, oh, I really like this song. He always seemed to like that one. So I think it's, when I hear it, it's all very positive. As I think I mentioned in the email to you, it's not really anything about the lyrical content. It's just that it's a song that I'd liked, and it's quite a nice tune, really. So yeah. I thought this was the one to pick.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, how I think I said it in one of the other interviews as well. But yeah, a song can contain like 1,000 memories, and how certain songs remind you of certain people and certain time periods. Yeah.
And,
so, yeah.
I was going to say, because another one for me, anything from, it's such an obvious album, but it was a crucial album, Rumours, because I also love Dreams as well, which is another one. I did think of that, and I play Rihanna quite a lot when I'm out gigging, and there's another song, Sarah, which that one as well. But as I say, I'm Over and Over is definitely the one I'd pick, I think.
Yeah.
So I hope listeners enjoy it.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. Thank you very much, Lisa. Thanks for your time, and and thank you to everyone tuning in. Please check out Lisa Marie Glover's work, and hope you've enjoyed this interview, and I'll be back with another episode soon.
Thanks.
So, yeah, thanks a lot, Lisa.